after a painting session, when you have a bunch of leftover paint on your palette and you still have some energy to paint, it's really fun to do the color mixing practice that I will demonstrate in this video. One of the benefits of getting good at painting color spots is that you can go into a painting that you've set aside and get pretty good color matches right off the bat. Likewise, if you have a painting that is almost finished but needs a little work, the color spot exercise primes you for being able to get right back to the place you need to be color-wise. I'm Sarah F. Jayne. Welcome to this episode of my painting videos. One of the best surfaces for painting color spots are the color samples left over from redecorating. The matte finish samples work the best. Also, it's nice to have a large space on each card. Although charts like this are quite attractive, you may not have enough space if a color turns out to be challenging to mix. It can also be useful to paint color spots on a subject that you're working on. Here, I've been working on tulips. The trick here is to find pictures that have large color masses so that you have ample room to do color spots and get the match. I tape the color samples to a board so that they will be ready to go whenever I have extra time and energy at the end of painting. Choose a color card, then on your palette, get as close as you can to mixing that color. When you think you have it, make a small dab of it on the card. I count it as close enough when I squint and the dot that I've painted disappears. Keep in mind that your paint spot will dry a slightly different color. Here's one that obviously took some time. It came out much too warm, and then it came out too cool, it came out too green, and then it came out too gray, and finally it proceeded down to a pretty darn good match. In this case, it took me 8 spots. It's fun to have little competitions with yourself. I suggest that you paint color spots in a sequence. That way you can see your progression of getting closer to your color. This one I'm going to paint rather deliberately wrong so that we can walk through the different possibilities for evaluating our color spots. So obviously this is a green. It's a rather dull olivey green. I have my colors placed on my palette in the order of a color wheel. This allows me to make a lot of color decisions and to be constantly thinking about color theory and learning about it as well. So I'm thinking the color that I'm aiming for, this light olivey green, will fall right about here in the color wheel. Now let's just say that I think this is pretty close. Now we can all see that's not close, but let's evaluate it. So you put down there, you look at it and squint. Here we have really truly an intensity issue and a slight hue issue, more than anything an intensity issue. This is just way too colorful for this dull color sample that we're trying to mix. We know that to dull a color down, we need to go for its complement. So let's just bring in some cadmium red. We're going to mix the whole pile, which is always a mistake to do. But let's do it anyway, because this is our bad example. And you can see the value is still pretty close. But we need to think now with this current pile that we have, we don't need to lighten or darken it. If we can keep this value, we'll be doing very well. I'm feeling like it needs to get a little cooler and lean a little bit more toward blue. But the other thing it needs is it needs to be dulled down. This is where doing this exercise with a whole bunch of crazy little mixes after painting a painting is perfect. If I want to try to go closer, it's kind of risking. It's like being in Las Vegas, and it's like playing a card game and saying, slap me one more, and then you go over 21. Well, I obviously don't play cards that much, but that's the thinking. So you think of value, you think, is the hue right? And you think, is the intensity right? Thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Old Garden, by clicking on the subscribe button below this video. I regularly post videos with mini demonstrations and painting tips. I look forward to painting with you. Oh well, okay, well.